4th to a 7th grade reading level in 3 months, and he practiced boxing every chance he could.
And the third shift staff would tell me, write me notes, leave me notes the next day, said, Bob, we got to do something with this kid. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and he said, the kid is still practicing what you showed him. In the dark, the lights are out. With that work ethic, he would have succeeded at whatever he took up.
Mike Tyson was still only 13 years old, but Stewart knew he would have to find someone to take Mike to the next level. He arranged to take him off the school grounds to meet the legendary boxing trainer, Cus D'Amato, at his gym above the police station in nearby Catskill, New York.
So then Bobby calls up Cus, says, I got a guy you got to take a look at, and that's Mike Tyson. So they start sparring. Bobby kicks the heck out of him, but Tyson takes it the whole way.
Tyson was obviously trying to impress us. He understood what was at stake. He wanted to ace his audition.
So after was 2 rounds, Cus says, I've seen enough.
Mike said, oh no. He says, Mr. Stewart says, we got to go 3 rounds. If you start, you got to finish. So we went the 3rd round. I walked in the corner, Cus was taking my gloves off. I said, what do you think?
And Cus says, this is the next heavyweight champion in the world.
But despite D'Amato's prediction, the odds were still against Tyson. D'Amato was a successful trainer, having produced 2 world champions. But for a boy who had accomplished nothing at this point in his life, it was a long shot at best.
Most of our kids didn't end up going to places like that. You know, they ended up going in the wrong direction. Probably 80% of them. This kid is making it. He's going to make it, hopefully.
He was very raw. He didn't know much. He didn't know how to fight. But you could see the physicality. You could see the clay that could be worked with.
Only Cus D'Amato had the vision of what Mike could be. There wasn't one trainer, not one professional boxer, who saw Mike in the amateurs and said, wow, that guy's going to be the next great heavyweight champion. No one, except Cus.
Now, I knew there were a lot of occasions when Cus D'Amato was full of crap. But when he would talk about something like this, he meant it. The only question was he right? And boy, was he right.
When Mike was released from Tryon just after his 14th birthday, D'Amato arranged to have Mike live with him and several other boxers in a large house he shared with his companion, Camille Ewald.
I brought him down to Cus's house, and the first time he saw the house, he said, what am I going to do here? This is where you stay. He says, what am I going to do, take the garbage out? I said, probably. I said, there's things you're going to have chores to do, just like the other kids do. And he looked, he couldn't believe it at first. He gave us a hug again and stuff, and he said, just remember, it's up to you, nobody else. Work, and I always had to be the tough guy, you know, or try to be. And that's where it started.
I was living there, and he wouldn't say nothing. Mike would just watch all the old fights, watch them all, then talk to Cus, or Cus would talk to him.
Over the next 4 years, Mike was in the gym, training every day, absorbing everything that Cus and his crew would teach him. He proved to be an apt pupil.
He had physical ability, but he had to be taught how to use it. I was there with him every day. He depended on me to teach him technique.
He was killing the sparring partners, and I couldn't believe the ferocity of this guy.
Mike comes out, boom, 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 throws a combination, boom, 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 boom. The guy goes like this. He puts up his hands. So, nope. And he climbs right out of the ring, and walked right out that door. Didn't even look to get paid. He walked right out.
After blasting through the amateur ranks, Mike turned pro at 18. Cus brought in his friends, Jim Jacobs and Bill Caton, to be Mike's managers. To better the odds of Mike's ascension, they lined up a steady stream of carefully selected opponents. His first pro fight, against Hector Mercedes, lasted less than 1 round.
It made for a spectacular highlight reel. It was like a cartoon. I mean, guys were flipping through the air and flying onto their backs. And, you know, it was just amazing to watch.
By the time Cus D'Amato died in 1985, Tyson was well on his way to the title. He spent the next few years sweeping up all 3 Boxing Association titles, fighting all comers until only one challenger remained. Michael Spinks, 10 years older than Tyson, also undefeated. Their fight would be the richest in boxing history.
Mike's aura of menace suffused Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. There was a delay before the fight because Spinks didn't want to come out of his dressing room.
Butch Lewis was Spinks' manager. went, as you would go into in every championship fight, the dressing room of your opponent to watch their hands being wrapped.
I had just finished taping his hands, and so Butch Lowe's tried to make a thing about it.
Which so aggravated Mike, who was already on edge, that he threw his hand out through a wall.
Spinks had heard that, and that it was the sound of Mike punching the hole through the wall which had prompted Michael to be reticent about coming into the ring.
You can see he was like a little nervous. And then what happened. I mean, he just destroyed him.
Here comes Mike Spinks in. He leads to the right hand. Down he goes. I don't think you get up from this. Mike Spinks is laying flat on his back. The count is up to 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. He won't be able to do it. It's all over.
The Michael Spinks fight was devastating. He had taken out an undefeated, 90 seconds?
Mike had beaten the odds and fulfilled Customato's prophecy. He was an incredible 35-0, the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. But in boxing, that's a difficult place to stay. Now Mike was surrounded by money and celebrity, formidable opponents for a 21-year-old kid who 8 years earlier didn't even have a dream to his name.
There's a famous quote in boxing history, I think it was Jack Dempsey, that it's hard to get up at 5 a.m. and go out and run through the snow when you're wearing silk underwear. That's what happened to Mike Tyson.
January 1990. Mike Tyson and Don King, his new manager and promoter, arrive in Tokyo, Japan to fight Buster Douglas. Few considered Douglas a worthy opponent for Tyson.
I have to be in the best shape that I have ever been in to be able to do all the things that it will take to defeat Mike.
One of the boxing writers, Ed Scholar from the AP, was going through customs in Japan, and the Japanese official said, "How long will you be in Tokyo, sir?" And he said, "I don't know, a round or two."
I never look at anybody fight because I'm confident no one can beat me, and I don't have to watch them fight.
They thought that Buster Douglas was, you know, just a clown, a tomato can.
But he was about 6'4". He was athletic. He could move. He could jab. And in the first minute of the fight, suddenly it was apparent, there's a style problem here.
My girlfriend said, starts rooting for Douglas. I said, wait a minute, no, don't root for Douglas. I want Mike to win this fight.
2/3 of the way through the 8th round, he came off the ropes with a punch from hell.
The referee began counting. 2, 3, 4. Mike, great performance. You know, you got a tough time, but you won and you're still heavyweight champion. Now Douglas is on the floor. 9. The guy gets up at 9.99. What makes him get up at 9.99? Then go back out. And a round later, knock out Mike Tyson. Now, that's fate.
3 years and 2 months after overcoming incredible odds to win the heavyweight title, the odds had already caught up with Mike Tyson. His future was anyone's guess.
I love boxing too, and I like doing it for myself. But you know, I feel so bad, you know, like if anything go wrong, when I look sloppy, so many people that, you know, help me and everything to get me up here, and I just don't want to let them down.
Mike Tyson faced the streets of New York without a father to guide or protect him. Mike has spent the rest of his life going from mentor to mentor, trying to fulfill that role.
Before Mike met Cuss, it's really tough to say if there was anyone in Mike's life that gave him that consideration, that care, that loving, that great deal of effort to say, I want to make you better.
What made it so beautiful at that point was Tyson was an incredible pupil. So what Cuss taught him